It is Throwback Thursday, which means it's time to dive deep into CBC's vast archives. We go back to the 1980s when a local musician founded an environmental organization to protest the pulp mills that were dumping dioxin in BC's coastal waters. In this story from June 1989, Terry Jacks leads a flotilla against two pulp mills in the Howe Sound. Take a look.
Security, security, security. This is Seasons in the Scum. At approximately 1100 hours this morning, we will be heading a large flotilla of boats north from Boyer Island to the pulp mill at Woodfibre and then across to the pulp mill at Port Mellon.
Terry Jack's passion against pollution leads this makeshift protest navy into Howe Sound today. They form a flotilla of more than 150 vessels and one airplane. Their mission is to deliver a message to Howe Sound's two pulp mills. Stop dumping dioxin and other toxic chemicals.
Now, if this was black, sticky oil, something people could see, it would be shut down immediately, but it's not. You can't see it, but it's much more deadly, and it's insidious. And we're protesting this. We want these mills shut down and the workers compensated. They have the technology available. They have lots of money right now, so we have to do something right away, now.
Everyone has come for the same reason.
I think it's for a good cause. It affects my business. I want to do something about it.
You're a crab fisherman?
That's right.
Same thing, we're crab fishermen. It affects our livelihood. If they close it down for pollution, what are we going to do? You know, all our money's invested in this industry.
Finally, after more than 2 hours in the water, the flotilla approaches its first target, the Western Forest Products Mill at Woodfibre.
Where's the boss? We got a present for him. Okay, everybody, we're gonna have to get out of here. We're gonna drop the present and leave. Okay! Hey!
Woodfibre officials watch the whole thing carefully. They say they're spending millions to modernize the plant so it won't use dioxins. After this stop, it's on to the mill at Port Mellon. The protest has caused a stir, but will it be enough to change anything?
Realistically, I think it'll take more than 100 boats, 200 boats out in the water one day to get the ball rolling. But the ball's got to start being pushed somewhere. And today's the first push, I think.
Well, those days of pollution and protests in Howe Sound are a long way off now. Never mind the long-term effect of the Britannia mine that leached pollutions into the fjord. Since the 1980s and the eventual closure of Woodfibre, Howe Sound has seen a remarkable turnaround with regards to wildlife. Salmon stocks have rebounded, rare glass sponge reefs have been protected, and another sign of that new abundance of wildlife, one of nature's largest creatures, humpback whales. Once rare, they've now routinely been seen, and joining me now is Andrew Trites, a professor at UBC and the director of the Marine Mammal Research Unit. Andrew, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
So take us through why we are seeing this resurgence of humpback whales in Howe Sound. What factors led to their return?
Well, the biggest thing that's happened is they've been protected. They were hunted mercilessly throughout the North Pacific, and including the Salish Sea. In fact, it only took 3 years to kill every last whale that lived in the Salish Sea. Between 1907 and 1910, in 3 years, they removed about 250, and it took them 100 years to find their way back here.
We've, fast forwarding to today, we've recently seen a slew of videos of close-up encounters with whales and humans. Is that okay? Should they be happening at all?
It's happening in part because it's new, and people are still trying to figure out where they are, how to act in and around them. You have to keep in mind that in the past 20 years, when the first one found its way back here, the numbers have grown. We now have somewhere between about 250 to 300, and they're going to some of the places that they used to use historically, by which most people have forgotten. For example, around Bowen Island is a spot where probably BC's very first whale watching company started around 1900. And they brought passengers from Vancouver on a steamship out to Bowen Island to look at humpback whales. And this has become a spot that the whales have rediscovered. And again, it's one of the spots where people are running into them and seeing them feeding.
Now let's shift gears a bit. Woodfibre is now being reborn, this time as an LNG export facility. What kind of potential risk does this restart of an industry pose to the reborn wildlife in that area?
Well, the whales are here to feed on either krill shrimp or small fish like anchovies or herring. So that's why they're here. And as long as the companies or pollution doesn't affect their prey source, they should just be fine.
So the upshot of this, are you generally positive with the outlook of this population, or are there some serious risks we need to keep in mind moving forward?
In terms of the recovery of humpback whales, it's one of the success stories. They were hunted down in the North Pacific to only about 2,000 whales around 1970. The numbers have grown, and currently there's about 27,000. So they have recovered. They're back to historic numbers. In terms of the ones that we're getting to know by name, because they're now coming back here, and some of the moms are bringing their calves back here as well, we're getting to know them, and we're going to want to pay particular attention at caring for them. They are at risk of being hit by large ships. They're at risk of getting entangled, such as in lines and buoys attached to crab pots, for example, or into fishing nets. And I think the onus is going to be on all of us to figure out, now that they're back, where do they occur, what areas do they need, and how can we accommodate their needs?
Some good precautions there, but also nice to hear some reason for optimism. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
Andrew Trites is a UBC professor and the director of the Marine Mammal Research Unit.